Here it is. The Champions League draw is done. Um, yeah, it just looks so nice getting a full bracket in the round of 16 instead of having to wait until the quarters to actually get, the a full bracket. We know exactly how it'll go. Playoff style. I like it. Um, I'm just gonna in this video go over all the matchups individually, how I think it will go. I made a TikTok just going over my overall thoughts on it, but this will be a bit more in depth. So if you want to check that out, you can. But yes, we will get straight into it, starting off with Arsenal taking on PSV. As an Arsenal fan, I am pretty happy with this draw. I mean, we were going to get either one of the two Dutch teams. I was saying I'd rather PSG because Feyenoord have impressed me in Europe. However, PSG have been much better in the league, and Feyenoord are without Jimenez now. So it's like, I don't know, maybe Feyenoord would have been the better draw. But either way, considering that we saw Madrid, PSG, Bayern, Dortmund, seeing that we saw all these other teams in the playoffs, it's nice that we were able to get an easier draw. But with the way Arsenal's form's been lately, I don't know that we're gonna smash them. I mean, look, last season we played PSV home and away. We played our reserve team away at their place, got a draw, and we beat them 4-0 at home. So, we do actually perform well against PSV. So I'm interested to see how we go in this. I'm hoping that we've sort of grown a bit from the Porto game and we actually do see us convincingly win a knockout tie, which we have not seen. Like literally, we have not won. Arteta still hasn't won a Champions League knockout tie in 180 minutes. They've all needed the only win that we've gotten against fucking Porto was on pens. So I hope that we actually, get it done a little bit more convincingly this time. But we just got to win. We just have to win. Obviously, we've got all the injury concerns with no Martinelli, Saka, Havertz, or Jesus. Our front line is severely lacking. This I don't know exactly when the first leg will be. Let me let me have a look actually. Yeah, I really hang on. I probably should have looked this up before. But it should be what, like early March? I'm assuming. I'm assuming it would be early March. So for the first leg of that game, at least, where I don't think we're really gonna have anyone back, but maybe for like the second leg we could. All right, so the first leg is the 4th of March, Tuesday the 4th of March, and then the second leg is a week later on Wednesday, the 12th of March. So yeah, early to mid March for this tie. We're probably not going to have anyone major back. Maybe Martinelli. I don't know the timeline of Martinelli's return. But I do think that with what we've got, with the defence we have, we've still got Nwaneri. I do think that Arsenal still should be able to win this tie. It also does help that the second leg's at the Emirates, meaning we just go away from home, try and get either a win or even a draw would be alright, and then just close them out at the Emirates. I always think that having the second leg at home gives you the upper hand because you know what you have to do at your place. If you have the first leg at home, you then go away from home with no idea how it's gonna go. So yeah, I do definitely think that we do have the upper hand with the draw. We are the better team, and I am expecting Arsenal to go through to the next round. Then we have Real Madrid against Atletico Madrid. This is a very, very interesting game. I was hoping that these two teams would draw each other. Actually, I was no, I was more hoping that Bayern would draw Leverkusen. I actually thought Madrid, no matter who they got, would get an entertaining matchup because Leverkusen Madrid would have been great too. But yeah, I mean Madrid derby. That's very, very interesting. The the two teams have very mixed a very mixed head-to-head record as of late. I mean, they've literally drawn their last 3 meetings. Madrid have gone 4 games against Atleti without a win. However, in the Champions League, you're going to see a different version of Real Madrid. I think both teams have had pretty similar form, overall in the season. Atleti had a better UCL campaign, like a more they had a more consistent UCL campaign. However, they've both had very similar league campaigns. I think they're on equal points, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they're on equal points. Madrid have 1 more point than Atleti. Madrid are second, Atleti are third. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. I'm a little bit disappointed that it's on at the same time as the Arsenal game, because honestly, I think that if I had to pick between any tie, I'd probably pick to watch this one. Although, nah, there's some pretty good ones. I'm gonna be watching a lot, like, simultaneously. I'm definitely gonna, like, now that I'm looking at the fixture, on Tuesday I'll watch on Leverkusen and fuck me. I'll watch Leverkusen, Bayern, and Liverpool PSG. I'll watch both of those games on the Tuesday, and then on the Wednesday I'll watch the Madrid game and the Arsenal game. I'll watch 4 of those games, and I'll probably do the same thing for the second leg. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see these two teams come up against each other again. I just think because it's the Champions League, I can't really pick Atleti to knock Madrid out. Every year Atleti are people's dark horses, and last year they had a pretty nice run. I mean, I remember they beat Inter on penalties in the round of 16 and went out in the quarters. I don't think they get that far. I'm going to pick Real Madrid to go through, despite the fact that Atleti do have a nice record against them, literally unbeaten in 4 games, but 3 of them have been 1-1 draws. So it's usually quite low scoring, but I think now with the form Mbappe's found himself in, I do think Madrid will score a few goals, but Atleti will take a bit of a more defensive approach like normal. I'm interested to see how they go and neutralize them on a European stage. But yeah, I'm going with Real Madrid. Then we've got PSG against Liverpool. Liverpool should feel very hard done by for their round of 16 draw. I think overall they got pretty unlucky. I mean, they'd much rather be Barca. The only thing that sort of goes their way is their whole route to the final. The second leg will be at Anfield, and it will be the case for this game. And I just really don't see how PSG get it done. A lot of people are saying, oh, PSG is a tough matchup for Liverpool, and it is. They would have much rather Benfica. But I do think that PSG have been slightly overrated by people. Like, don't get me wrong, they've been in unbelievable form. Ousmane Dembele is a man reborn in that team. An absolute man reborn. He's been fucking unreal. And I do think that the main weakness that Liverpool could have is that left-hand side, defensively especially. I mean, they'll have Ashraf Hakimi overlapping with either Bradley Barcola or Kvisha Kvaratskhelia. I think it's Bradley Barcola that's been playing more right. Or even Ousmane Dembele could play there. PSG have a lot of raw talent on that right wing, and I do think Andy Robertson isn't at the same level that he once was. However, I do think that Liverpool, in terms of a midfield battle, do win it. I do definitely think that they win it because whilst individually, Vitinha, Neves, Zaire Emery, these players are all very talented. As a unit, on a European stage, I don't think it's truly the same, just because they lack the physicality to go head-to-head with all the biggest teams in Europe. In the French league, they're just so technically gifted, and the midfield is so below par that it works. Whereas against these big European teams, I think Gravenberch is going to have an absolute field day. I think him and Barcola are the two, main players to watch. I think that Liverpool have got a lot of offensive firepower. PSG aren't the greatest team defensively. Their wins more come from scoring goals. And Liverpool do have a very informed defence. I just think it's that left-hand side that could leave them weak. But I am putting Liverpool through to the quarterfinals. And then we've got Club Brugge against Aston Villa. I was kind of hoping that Villa would draw Dortmund, more so because I wanted to see Lille, actually make a run, like make some sort of underdog run. Because if they get to the quarterfinals, then they very well could, knock out a team like Barcelona, make some sort of upset with the confidence that getting to that stage in the tournament does. However, I do think that they got pretty unlucky, and Villa can consider themselves quite fortunate. I mean, Club Brugge have been a massive underdog. This is the second time in 3 years that Club Brugge has made the round of 16 in the Champions League. So fair enough to Club Brugge. I think Villa are much happier with Club Brugge than they would be with Atalanta. So yeah, I do think that Aston Villa do win, despite the fact that they have been. You know what? I'm gonna go with Club Brugge actually. I'm gonna pick Club Brugge to go through to the quarterfinals. I think that Club Brugge are gonna surprise some people because they have, as I said, they've done so well to make it this far, and Villa's form has been a little bit streaky in the Prem. I'm going for my first major upset. Club Brugge to go through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. You've heard it here first, guys. I think that's what's gonna go down. Yeah. I mean, they literally beat Villa earlier in the Champions League season. I completely forgot about that with a very dodgy penalty. But I mean, if they've done it once, why can't they do it again? I do think that Villa do have the advantage with the second leg being at Villa Park. But if Club Brugge can get a win away from home, and then see out some sort of draw, just park the bus, don't let Villa get too many chances, then I definitely do think that, and Club Brugge did a good job at neutralising Villa. So look, with Villa's new signings, maybe they could, and also you gotta remember they're still trying to battle the Premier League and the Champions League. Maybe they they're currently ninth in the table. Maybe they look at their table position and think we should probably do our best to try and get back into Europe next season. So maybe they go all in the Premier League, and I don't know, they just aren't able to capitalise in the Champions League because they don't really have the squad quality. But yeah, I'm going with Club Brugge to upset Aston Villa and go through to the next round. Then we have Benfica against Barcelona, looking at that other side of the bracket. This is a very, very nice draw for Barca. I think Barca are the biggest winners of this competition, of this draw, sorry, because really they don't get to play against a proper top quality team until the semis. And I don't think I think Liverpool are similar in that extent. It's just PSG are levels better than any team that Barcelona faced before the semis. So I would say that Barcelona win this game. They've been one of the informed teams in Europe over the course of the season. They have had, blips, but in the Champions League they've looked very good. They were second for a reason. I mean, these two teams played one of the most entertaining fucking games of football that I've ever watched. That 5-4. Crazy game. Barca were pretty lucky to win it, if I'm being honest. Although Benfica were lucky to score 4 goals. Anyway, I would put Barcelona to win. Benfica are currently doing pretty well in the Portuguese league. I mean, they're second in the table, a couple of points behind Sporting. But I think they've been on better form than Sporting. Sporting have been, since Ruben Amorim left, they haven't been as good as they were earlier in the season. But yeah, I would put Barcelona through to the quarterfinals. Then we've got Lille against Dortmund. And this is an interesting one, because Dortmund, I feel like I've been saying that about every time, that it's an interesting one. Because Dortmund have been terrible in the Bundesliga this season. They've been in shocking form. They barely missed out on the top 8. I think they finished 9th or 10th. I actually think Atalanta were 9th, which, weird 9th isn't here, but 24th is. Yeah, I do think that the Dortmund have been better in the Champions League than they have been in the Bundesliga. They've been appalling in the Bundesliga for their standards. They're currently sat 11th in the table. Yeah, not very good. But it was similar last season. I think they ended up finishing like 5th. And they made the Champions League final. So maybe we see Dortmund go on another one of those runs. I just think that Lille get it done. I think that Lille have been such a revelation this season. The fact that we saw them clinch a top 8 spot over Atalanta, over Dortmund, over Bayern, Madrid, over Man City, who aren't even here, thank God. Um, I really want to see them go through, and I think that they get it done. I think Lille advance to the quarterfinals to take on Barcelona. Then our final two ties of the round of 16. It'll get faster when we get to the quarters, obviously. Inter versus Feyenoord. Oh, not Inter Feyenoord. Sorry, we've got Bayern against Leverkusen first. Um, wow, wow. I mean, these two teams. I don't know how that game ended 0-0 the other day. Do not know how. Leverkusen was so much better than Bayern were. And I honestly think, on form, Leverkusen have been the better side. I think that their Champions League campaign was very good. In fact, they were literally the only team that scored against Inter, and they beat them. So I mean, that could be an interesting matchup in the quarters if we get to see that. But yeah, Xabi Alonso's record against Bayern is quite good. He's unbeaten against them since he has arrived at the club. Last season they beat them at the Allianz, and they have the second leg at home. So I'm going to go with Leverkusen to win this game. Their league form hasn't been as good. Like, Bayern have just been, more consistent in the league. They currently sit 8 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga. But Bayern have looked a bit shaky, They've looked a little bit shaky. I get they were appalling against Celtic. They were horrid. A team like Celtic, Bayern should be battering them. And they needed a scrappy last-minute goal to go through. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Leverkusen. I think Xabi Alonso bests Vincent Kompany in the Champions League. He probably doesn't win the league. I think Bayern do win the league. But in terms of this tie in the Champions League, I think that Leverkusen get it done and go through to the quarters. This is my third upset so far. So I do think that there are going to be some interesting... I keep saying interesting. I don't know why. I think there are going to be some tasty upsets. And then finally, for the round of 16, we have Feyenoord taking on Inter. Yeah, Feyenoord haven't been great in their league. They did knock out AC Milan in the playoffs. And imagine if AC Milan won and we saw a Milan derby in the round of 16 again. Saw it in the semis a couple of years ago. Yeah, I'm just going Inter. I think that this Inter team, I've said it before, I think Inter are the most well-coached team in football. They've got some excellent players in that squad. Lautaro Martinez, Marcus Thuram, Barella, Bastoni, Jan Sommer. They've got so many top players in that team, so many world-class players. They're so well-coached. Their system is so unbeaten. They're so impossible to break down. They only conceded one goal in the league phase, which is to Leverkusen. So yeah, I'm going to go with Inter to win pretty convincingly. I think I'll even go as far to say as it will be the most convincing win in the round of 16. Maybe Barcelona, show up against Benfica. But I think that Inter, even if Inter don't play at their best, I still think that they can win this tie. No disrespect to Feyenoord. They're just not built at the same level as Inter Milan. Moving on to the quarterfinals, we have Real Madrid against Arsenal. And as much as I want to be delusional and say Arsenal's defense, lock up Madrid and... nah, I'm not. Real Madrid will advance. They have the state. We've been really unlucky that we have to go to the Bernabeu in the second leg. I would be feeling a little bit better about the tie if the second leg was at the Emirates. I would be feeling better about the tie if that was the case. But I mean, that first leg, we have to win. It's similar to the Bayern game. All the pressure is on us early on, whereas Madrid, they can sort of just... scrape a draw, or even Arsenal have to. If Arsenal have any chance of going through, we cannot concede at the Emirates. And to be fair, in the Champions League, we've actually been pretty good defensively at the Emirates. I think since Arteta's gotten us back into the Champions League, we've played oh, how, we've played 12 games at the Emirates since we've gotten back into the Champions League. 3 in the group stage, 2 in the knockout. Oh wait, no, hang on, that's only 5. What? Anyway, we've only conceded 2 goals at home in the Champions League since we've gotten back in it. And that is in 8 games last season and 4 games this season. What am I talking about? 8 games? 5. Bro, I'm so tired. I'm honestly so tired. Why am I even recording this video? But yeah, that's 9 games at the Emirates since we've been back in the Champions League, and we've only conceded 2 goals, and they were both to Bayern. With one of them being a penalty. So, look, our defensive record in the Champions League has been good, not the same as Inter's, but we've only conceded 1 open play goal. We conceded 1 from a set piece and a penalty. So I think defensively, the only way that Arsenal could dream of going through is if we put in if we get Saka and Martinelli back for that first leg at the Emirates, and we put in an absolute masterclass, winning 2-0 without conceding, scoring a couple of goals, and then we just park the bus and pray that we can get it done at the Bernabeu. But I don't see it. I think that Real Madrid probably either scrape a draw or even win at the Emirates. I think that Madrid could dispose of us convincingly, but it's not looking good. This Arsenal team, when we struggled to beat Leicester at the King Power, rocking up to the Bernabeu in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Nah, I think Madrid win pretty convincingly, if I'm being completely unbiased. And they book their spot to the semis. Then we've got Liverpool against Club Brugge. This is going to be one of the easiest ties Liverpool are going to get. I think Club Brugge let it all out on the pitch in their last 2 ties. They made the quarters. Great job to them. But Liverpool beat Club Brugge very convincingly. I don't want to put too much analysis in. I think it could be similar to... Okay, now that's a bit insulting. I was going to say it could be similar to that round of 16 tie that Liverpool had in the Europa League where they won like 10-2. Now, then it's not the same as that. But it'll be similar in the sense of they'll win comfortably. Like that second leg at Anfield is, it's not... I think, is it the second leg at Anfield? No, I think it's the first leg at Anfield. Right? I don't think it matters. But yeah, they'll dispose of Club Brugge pretty convincingly. No disrespect. I had them make it, guys. I had you beating Villa, alright? What more do you want? What more do you want? Then we've got Barcelona against Lille. Hear me out. Hear me out. I think Lille go through, you know. People are going to call me delusional all they want. But this Barca team, the cracks are starting to show. The cracks are really starting to show. I just think they're defensively, I don't think they're good enough. I mean, Lille have some talent up front, and I think if Lille take a very defensive approach to this game, hit Barca on the counter, they can take advantage of that high line. I think Barcelona's heavy reliance on youth could see them go back. They're obviously a much better team than Lille, but Barcelona crashing out of Europe is a staple. It's become a staple. I think we're seeing Roma Part 2, if I'm being honest. Give me, in one of the most incredible upsets in recent Champions League memory, Lille go through to a semi-final. I just love Lille, bro. I'm so big on this Lille team. I think they're just like their league form hasn't been amazing, has it? I mean, like they're they're 5th in the French league. So I think, you know what, they fucking go all in. They're probably not going to make the Champions League next season, right? They're probably not going to be there. They might. It's actually quite tight. But I mean, they're going to make a statement and they're going to knock out Barcelona in incredible fashion. They go through to the semis. And then we've got Inter against Leverkusen. I'm so excited for this game. If my quarterfinals are right, I hope that I don't care which semi-finals are when, as long as we don't play at the same time as Inter Leverkusen. I do not want to see us play at the same time as Inter Leverkusen. I don't, because I want to watch both games. I want to watch both games with all my eyes on both games. I think this will be such an entertaining game. You've got and look, that seems kind of weird because you've got two of the best defensive teams in the league, but they just match up so well. They just match up so well. They match up so well. They play very similar styles where they have that back three that out of possession becomes a back five. They've both got two of the best midfielders on the planet in Nico Barella and Florian Wirtz. Some of the best defensive football played. I'm massive on this Leverkusen team, but they fall short here. I think Inter have too much Champions League experience. They've got too much quality in that team that despite the fact that Alonso has made it this far in his first year, in his first ever Champions League campaign, I think it'll be similar to Arsenal Arsenal last year, where it's his first year back, they make it to the quarters, although they actually managed to beat a Bayern team that they should be beating. And now for the semi-finals, Liverpool, Real Madrid. Wow. Everyone's going to go Liverpool, right? Because the second leg's at Anfield. It's just classic Liverpool. They could lose at the Bernabeu, but, you know, you come to Anfield and it's a completely different story. But I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree. This Madrid team is not the same Madrid team that came to Anfield in December. This Madrid team is not the same Madrid team that that Madrid team is not the same Madrid team that will be playing in a Champions League semi-final in May. Real Madrid go through to the final, knocking out Liverpool. I think that also Liverpool are going to have these other competitions to play in. I know they're out of the FA Cup, but they're still going to be focusing on trying to... Although I think they'll probably have already won the Premier League at that point. So I don't know, maybe the Premier League's a write-off and Madrid are the ones still focusing on the league. I'm probably talking absolute waffle. That could honestly match up better for Liverpool, but Connor Bradley, you know, he locked up Mbappe, whatever. He's not going to lock up an informed Kylian Mbappe in a UCL semi-final. Trent Alexander-Arnold, as good as he is, how's he going to stop a prime informed Vinny? He's not going to. So Real Madrid go through to the next round. And I also think that they do a pretty good job neutralizing Salah as well. I think that Salah has a terrible record against Madrid. And I know this Madrid team hasn't shown that they're the same yet. But they're booking their spot to the final. They're headed to Munich. Then we have Inter against Lille. What a boring ass semi-final. I should have just been a good boy and predicted Barca to win, so I could talk about, oh, look at this insane matchup. I still would have had Inter winning, and I'm sure as hell having Inter beating Lille. Lille's fairy tale run ends here. Inter knocked them out convincingly. Everyone's going to just be watching that Liverpool semi. And Inter are headed to Munich to take on Real Madrid in a Champions League final. And this is honestly going to be extremely entertaining to watch. Like, I think you'll have Real Madrid. It'll be the classic. Honestly, it'll be exactly like the final from a couple years ago that Inter were in. Inter are going to play so well. They're going to have some chances. But at the end of the day, Madrid's dark magic will prevail. And Real Madrid will get a 1-0, maybe a 2-1 win. And they're going to lift that Champions League trophy in Munich. You've heard it here first. Real Madrid are winning the Champions League in 2025. They're going to go back to back. Vinny, Mbappe, Rodrigo, Bellingham, Rudiger, this insane Valverde, this insane super team that they have assembled will go back to back in the Champions League. They will be champions of Europe. Tell me what you guys think of this draw. I'm very excited. I hope that with some of these matchups, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I see Barcelona go through, because I actually do like Barcelona. I think that they're defensively they have their weaknesses. They concede too many chances. They rely too much on young players that you don't know. Like if you don't know if Lamine Yamal is not, I'm not even gonna say he's gonna perform. You don't know if his body's gonna be able to hold up all these fixtures. He's already played 100 games at his age. They'll need to manage his minutes well. To be fair, they have actually been doing it pretty well in that Liga. Um, but yeah, I can't. I'm sold on Madrid. I'm sold on Real Madrid. They're going to win the Champions League. And yeah, that's that's my predictions. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be uploading heaps more match reactions and stuff. There will be Champions League content coming your way. Yeah, this is gonna be some fiery shit, and it's good that we've got the full bracket here that we can talk about all these games like that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.